So that's a great question, and it's something that's a little funny. Basically, when you go to raise money, they're going to want in exchange for their money some cut of your business. And this is where it gets tricky, especially when it's a business that hasn't launched yet, where you don't really have revenue right now. You basically, and this is something that confuses a lot of people with good reason, because it's a little bit of a game. It's kind of imaginary numbers. You basically make up a valuation. How much is my idea worth? My idea that does not yet exist in some cases. It's just an idea for a business. How much is that idea worth? Is that idea worth $100,000? Is that idea worth $1 million? Is that idea worth $10 million? You peg an arbitrary number. Or it might not be arbitrary. It might be based on the potential opportunity, where you're saying, you know what, I think that with your money, within 5 years, I'm going to grow a business that's going to be making $1 million in sales. So I think that this business, even though it's just an idea, today I think it's worth 10 million bucks. And I want $1 million from you. So that's 10%. I will give you 10% of my business for $1 million, and it's worth 10 million. Well, what then happens is the market comes back to you. An investor will say, you're crazy. Your idea is not worth 10 million bucks. Your idea is worth $1 million bucks. And for 10%, I'll give you 100,000 instead. And then you decide, yeah, that sounds about right, or no, it doesn't. Or maybe you get lucky and they say, you know what, I totally buy that your idea is worth 10 million bucks. Here's $1 million bucks for 10%, and I'll take it. What you want to do is secure a lead investor. And what a lead investor is typically in an angel round or in a VC round. A lead investor is the first, you figure out how much money you want to raise. The lead investor is the first person of some sort of a stature who takes a big chunk of that amount. So if you're looking to raise 100,000 and someone puts in 30,000, that may be a lead investor. Or they put in 50,000, that may be a lead investor. And a lead investor does two things. They provide confidence to other investors, and they provide validation on your valuation. So if someone of stature, if you say, my idea is worth 10 million, and I'll sell you 10% for $1 million, and someone of stature says, you're right, I'll put in 500,000 towards the $1 million that you're trying to raise. That tends to set the valuation, and then other investors follow on. Because they say, you know what, if so-and-so bought into your argument that this is what your business is worth, then I guess that's right, and I'll invest at that number too. But typically, until you find a lead investor, it's all a negotiation as to how much your business is worth. At a certain point, you need to have a fixed valuation, because you can't be talking to 3 people and all of them are investing based on different valuations. So you want to establish it with the lead, then that's what it's worth, even though it's arbitrary, even though it's based on nothing. It really, once people start investing on that arbitrary number, then it becomes real and actual. It's kind of like Facebook. Like right now, Facebook's revenue, they say this year Facebook's revenue is going to be about $1 billion. They're raising money at an $80 billion valuation. So some people have said, where'd they get that number, $80 billion from? The answer is they made it up. And enough people believed it and invested in it that it became real. 80 billion is based on Facebook saying, we make $1 billion today, but in 10 years we'll make $1 trillion. And people going, hey, you're right, you will. And investing based on that. But it's really nothing more than that. It's more magic than science.
All right, thank you. So let me just remind you, always think big. You're thinking big numbers here. If you think small, you're the little fish in the pond. So I'd like to thank Alan Goldberg. Yeah. Jordan Goldman. And I'm thinking I should change my name to Carson Tang. A lot of gold up here.